What was Camilla Figg's true role in Dexter's secret? Was she just a loyal family friend? Or did she know much more than she let on? Camilla had been a part of Dexter's life for years, yet she kept quiet about his darkest truth. But what if I told you that her silence wasn't just loyalty? It was something far more complicated. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll see how deep her involvement went and how the deal she made could have changed Dexter's fate forever. Let's dive in. Camilla Figg was more than just a background character in Dexter. She was the trusted friend, the confidant, and someone who had been around as long as Dexter could remember. She worked alongside Harry Morgan at Miami Metro Police, and let's not forget, she was practically a member of the Morgan family. In fact, she had been a part of their lives for so long that it's almost impossible to believe she didn't notice something a little off about Dexter. I mean, the guy's got a bit of a dark side, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Camilla wasn't just standing in the background sipping coffee while Dexter did his thing. She had access to some pretty critical information. She wasn't just shuffling papers, she was involved in multiple investigations, many of which were directly connected to Dexter's little side hustle as a vigilante. So the real question is, did she know what was going on behind Dexter's charming facade? I mean, it's hard to miss the guy's creepy, "I'm hunting bad guys" smile, right? And if she did know, why didn't she say anything? Was she just that good at pretending to be oblivious? Or was she keeping Dexter's secret for reasons we can only guess? One of the pivotal moments that raises serious questions about Camilla's knowledge is the Shipyard Massacre. This horrifying event was not just a footnote in Dexter's past. It was the very thing that shaped his dark sense of justice and turned him into the vigilante we know today. It marked the beginning of Dexter's transformation into a killer with a cause. Camilla, a trusted figure in Dexter's life, was directly involved in the case. She had access to critical information that could have exposed Dexter's deepest secret. So, how could she not have known? Was she just too busy with her paperwork, or was she playing a far more active role in keeping Dexter's past buried? Camilla was one of the few people who had access to the case files related to the Shipyard Massacre. These files were full of information that could have shed light on Dexter's traumatic past, a past that, if revealed, would have completely destroyed him. Yet, when Dexter came knocking on her door, asking for those files, her response was pretty telling. Her demeanor shifted from the usual friendly, welcoming Camilla to someone cold and distant. The warmth drained from her smile, and she lied through her teeth, claiming the files had been destroyed. Really, Camilla? Destroyed? The files you've had access to for years? Her reaction seems far too calculated. It's almost like she was hiding something. I mean, who does that? Could it be that Camilla was actively protecting Dexter from the truth of his past? Maybe she was trying to shield him from the consequences of revealing the details of the Shipyard Massacre. Let me ask you, do you think Camilla knew everything about Dexter's past and chose to keep it hidden to protect him? Or was she genuinely clueless about the full scope of what happened? Either way, her actions suggest she played a much larger role in keeping Dexter's darkest secret locked away. So why would she do it? What was really driving her to keep this secret, even at the risk of losing her career or worse? If you're thinking this was just an accident or a misunderstanding, think again. Camilla Figg was no stranger to keeping secrets. She wasn't just some bystander who happened to be around when Dexter was hiding bodies. Oh no, she was actively involved in keeping his darkest truths under wraps. Camilla didn't just withhold information. She made a conscious decision to protect Dexter's secret life, like a professional. She didn't just wave it off, she made a deal that went way beyond loyalty. And let's be honest, it's hard to ignore the possibility that she might have struck a silent pact with Dexter's father, Harry. After all, Harry wasn't just any guy. He was the man who took her under his wing, trusted her, and maybe even saw her as a partner in crime. But here's the real head-scratcher. Why would Camilla, a woman who spent years in law enforcement and knew the value of justice, help protect a killer? To truly understand why, let's dig a little deeper into Camilla's motivations. Her loyalty to Harry was unquestionable, a loyalty so deep, it almost seems like she had a subscription to the "I'll cover up your mess" club. She helped Harry cover up the disaster at the shipyard, ensuring no one would ever discover the truth of what happened that day. Camilla knew Dexter's story inside and out, from the trauma he endured to the role Harry played in shaping the monster he became. But what's really baffling is why she chose to protect him. Was it all about loyalty to Harry, or was there something more personal at play here? What's even more fascinating is how Camilla's personal ethics seem to line up perfectly with Dexter's actions. Over the years, she saw Dexter's darker side, yet she chose to look the other way. Maybe she didn't see him as a monster, but as a man struggling with his inner demons. Perhaps Camilla wasn't just protecting Dexter from the outside world. Maybe she was protecting him from himself. Sounds a little like something out of a twisted psychological thriller, right? Now, let's talk about the deal from a different angle. her loyalty to Dexter. When Camilla destroyed those case files, it wasn't just a simple action. It was a deliberate and powerful statement. She wasn't just protecting Harry anymore. She was choosing to protect Dexter. This act wasn't about covering up a mistake or making a small adjustment to the truth. It was about a much bigger decision, deciding whose life mattered more and which truths needed to stay hidden. And when Dexter eventually confronted her about his mother's death and the horrific events of the shipyard massacre, Camilla wasn't stunned or taken aback. In fact, she confirmed everything he had suspected, but it wasn't out of surprise or shock. It was as if she had already known the truth all along. Think about it for a moment. Camilla had witnessed Dexter's life unfold. She saw him grow from a child scarred by unimaginable trauma into the man who would carry the weight of a dark, twisted justice on his shoulders. She understood the pain he had gone through, especially the devastating impact of what happened to him in that shipping container. Yet, rather than exposing his secret to the world, she chose to protect him. And she did so at great personal risk, risking her own career, reputation, and possibly even her freedom. This wasn't just a favor for an old friend. It was a commitment to his well-being, even at the expense of the law. That's where her deal with Dexter became clear. She wasn't merely a friend. She became an active ally, someone who understood the good in Dexter, even if it was hidden behind layers of violence and secrecy. But this raises an even deeper question. Why protect Dexter, knowing the horror he had caused? Was her loyalty to Harry so strong that it extended to his son? Or did she genuinely believe that Dexter's brand of justice, flawed as it was somehow a force for good? Could she have seen in him something more than the monster he appeared to be? These questions go straight to the heart of Camilla's character and the complex moral landscape she navigated throughout Dexter. If you're still not convinced that Camilla's role was more than just a passive one, let's dive into a moment that really shows how deep her involvement went. In Season 3, Episode 7, Easy as Pie, Camilla, nearing the end of her life, asks Dexter for a rather personal favor. She wants him to end her suffering, saying, "I can't take my own life because I'm Catholic." Well, that's one way to ask for help, isn't it? This wasn't just a casual request. It was a call for Dexter to take action in a way only he could. But here's the kicker. This wasn't the first time someone had asked Dexter to end a life, but it was the first time someone who actually knew him, someone who had watched him kill people, looked him in the eye and said, "Hey, could you do me a favor and kill me?" So, what does that tell us about their relationship? Why, after everything Dexter had done, would Camilla choose him to end her life? Was it because she trusted him more than anyone else? Or maybe, just maybe, she had come to see his actions as necessary, even justifiable. I mean, who wouldn't want the guy who casually kills criminals to step in and help with their terminal illness, right? Camilla's request is pretty telling. It speaks volumes about how much trust and loyalty she had in him, even if that trust was a bit, let's say, unconventional. She wasn't just asking any random person to end her life. No, she asked the guy who killed in cold blood. If that's not trust, I don't know what is. But what does it really mean? Was it pure compassion? Or did she see Dexter's brand of justice as something more acceptable than we'd like to admit? Now, let's shift gears and take a closer look at Camilla's moral compass. We've seen Dexter constantly struggle with his code of justice, but what about Camilla? Oh, her sense of right and wrong was just as, shall we say, complicated. After all, she spent decades in law enforcement, so she had a front-row seat to the chaos of the legal system. Criminals walked free on technicalities, and the innocent? Well, they just got stuck cleaning up the mess. So it's safe to say that Camilla wasn't exactly handing out law and order medals to the justice system. This is where her role gets a bit more interesting. You see, Camilla didn't exactly view Dexter's actions as murder in the traditional sense. Oh no. In her eyes, Dexter wasn't some deranged killer. He was more like a vigilante hero, righting the wrongs that the system just couldn't handle. The people Dexter killed? They were criminals who had slipped through the cracks, walking free because of legal loopholes and failures. In her mind, Dexter was probably doing what the justice system couldn't, cleaning up the mess. Now, here's the kicker. Do you think Camilla genuinely believed Dexter was in the right, or was she just turning a blind eye to protect him? Was she actually making excuses for his actions, or was it all about the bond they shared over the years? Let's be honest, when you're in the business of cleaning up crime scenes and looking the other way when the Dexter Morgan comes around, there's a good chance you've developed a rather flexible sense of right and wrong. You know, the kind that says, hey, maybe a little murder's okay if it means putting the truly bad guys in their place. So, was it justice, or was it just her way of keeping Dexter out of trouble? Again, as we near the end of Camilla's story, her death is a rather poignant moment in Dexter. Dexter, ever the obedient one, chooses to end her suffering by poisoning her with a key lime pie. Because why not? It's not just a final act of mercy, it's a moment of power for Dexter. After all, when you're the guy who kills criminals, what's a little poisoning on the side? But here's the real question. Was it also a moment of finality for Camilla? Was this her way of ensuring that her secret, and Dexter's, would stay buried, even in death? In her last moments, Camilla asks Dexter to promise her that he will keep her secret safe. Now, Dexter, being the emotionally cold guy he is, doesn't exactly give her a warm, reassuring, "I promise?" Instead, he does what he does best. He just acts. But let's be real. His actions say everything. Camilla by this point had already made her peace with Dexter's darkness. She knew who he was, accepted it, and in a twisted way became complicit in it. She wasn't just a bystander anymore. She was part of the whole Dexter experience, for better or worse. Camilla Figg's role in Dexter's life was far more significant than most fans realize. She wasn't just a supporting character. She was an enabler, a protector, and someone who understood the complexity of Dexter's dark side. Her decisions, especially her choice to protect Dexter and her moral flexibility, were driven by loyalty, empathy, and perhaps even a deep understanding of the flawed justice system. But here's the real question. Did Camilla make the right choice? Should she have exposed Dexter, or was her loyalty to him and his family ultimately the better path? We may never know for sure, but one thing is clear. Camilla's hidden role in Dexter's secret is one of the most underappreciated aspects of the show. What do you think? Did Camilla make the right call by protecting Dexter, or should she have turned him in? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.